Hey everybody, just doing the Sunday check-in. Again, I do apologize. I've been very sporadic in showing up here lately, and I'm going to correct that. I've had a lot going on, and it's all good stuff. It's not, I mean, it is distractions, but it's good distractions. And there are going to be more. Uh, as soon as that book comes for the upcoming classes, I'm definitely going to take some time offline and to myself and without distractions to focus on that because I want to take that seriously. But that'll be a short term thing. Um, had a good day today. You know, quite a few were missing at church today, unfortunately. Illness has been going around. I missed 2 weeks ago myself because I didn't want to get anybody else sick. Um, so thoughts and prayers for those folks that are going through it. Hopefully they start feeling better soon. Um, but it was the second week of using the sound system. Did not have as many feedback issues this week. Now I got to work on hearing because where I sit to operate the soundboard is like right under one of the speakers. I'm right next to it. So what sounds loud to me doesn't necessarily sound loud out in the congregation. So I have to work on that. Um, but like I said, this week there was a lot less feedback loop because the first week I didn't sit on top of it because I didn't want to be like front and center of everything. And then I was assured, like, hey, no, you're okay there. Nobody's going to pay attention. Just do what you got to do. So this week I sat on top of it, and I literally my hand was on the volume knob the entire time. And every time I started to hear the echo, because that's feedback loop. That's when it's starting to come at. I would turn down the volume, kill the loop, and then bring it back real quick. Like nobody even noticed what I was doing. Although, except obviously it got lower and lower each time, even though I brought the volume back up. I guess I was a little low each time until eventually it went too low. But again, the system is still great. Nothing bad to say about it. It's just, again, practice, getting used to it. Um, and it's a great experience because, again, I've done things similar to it in the past, but I haven't done quite like this. So it's a good experience for me to learn. And it helps me, be productive and useful. I have that gift of I pick up and understand things. So, you give me 10 minutes and an internet connection, and I'll tell you everything there is to know about a topic. It's a slight exaggeration, but not by a lot. And that's not to be cocky, that's just the way everything works. You asked me 2 weeks later, I couldn't tell you anything I told you, but, in that time being. And of course, you know, where we were short a few people in the adult Sunday school, which I knew about. The adult Sunday school teacher had already told me that there was like a 90% chance they wouldn't be there this week, and they weren't. And they told me, go ahead and take over. I said, okay. So we did get through. I did learn a little bit better because not nobody there likes the leaders book. Well, I won't say we don't like it. It doesn't mesh well with certain things in the lesson. It actually creates more confusion than it clarifies in certain things. But I found a trick, to realize where we're actually at versus the extra information. Um, so that was a little smoother this week from the last time it happened. Um, and it was a really good discussion. You know, I liked it because one of them called it because being the one that was leading it, I tried to dip out of a question. One of them called me out like, "Well, Joe, what's your answer to that?" So of course, and I had to be me. I gave my answer, but it was a really good lesson in prayer and humility and what to pray for, and it's a good lesson, you know. But it just goes, you know, again, for some reason, I'm torturing myself here lately, but for a little bit now, my mind has been on the past. I keep thinking back. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. Some of it is comparison, like the case here. You know, 6, 7 months ago, I wasn't doing any of this. You know, the last genuine conversation I had with my ex, I laid out a plan, and I said, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm expecting out of my future. This is my timeline, and I'm on it." Matter of fact, there's a couple things that are happening earlier. And bonuses. I got the book done. The book was nowhere on the radar. Same thing as, becoming church sound guy. Those are blessings. Where I was at 7 months ago, I didn't feel wanted. I didn't feel useful. I was made to feel like something you'd scrape off the bottom of your shoe. And now I'm valued. And the only thing that changed was the people. I haven't changed. I'm still me. It's that analogy about the water bottle and where it's for sale at. It depends on the price. What's the value? It's just like that. I finally found where I belong. I finally found where people value me. And it's great. It's been awesome for me. But again, I've been going back to, I was in my head for a little while, and I started to get to thinking, because time has passed, and we all know me. I've got a soft spot and a hard head. I started to question again, like, hey, did I overreact? Did I really see what I thought I saw? A little backstory. Just before Christmas, like the 21st, I get a message from one of her family members. It was casual. They were trying to figure something out that was involved to a shared account. So I got a notification about it. And I was very friendly. I could have been cold. I could have been mean. And I wasn't. I was quite helpful. They even said that in their own words, that I was very helpful. Quick at being helpful. Because that's who I am. Fast forward the other day, the 15th. Right? There was a game that we all used to play. Like me, the ex, the family members, we all used to play it. And we always, thought they were done with it. Well, they just released another update for it, surprisingly. And I know I didn't hear about it till like a day or two before. So I assumed, since I didn't get a lot of fanfare, on it, I assumed they hadn't heard much either. So again, because of that interaction before Christmas, I figured reach out and be like, hey, I don't know if you heard, this update is out now. Just so you know. No ulterior motive, just, hey, Again. And within 15 minutes, I got a notification that, I was cut off the family plan. Which is expected. I mean, we've been separated for how long? But it's just the point of, don't tell me that you forgot about it because you disconnected from friendship so you wouldn't see me online back when everything happened. So you're telling me you remember the one and not the other? I don't buy that. But it was just a reminder, this literally the exact same pattern. Exact same cycle, down to the T. I'm done being punished for kindness. I'm done. I'm done being looked down on for it. I'm done being treated less than because of it. And I refuse to not be this way. So I just change who I'm around. I keep around people that know how to be human beings now. People that are capable still in this world of compassion. Because I certainly didn't have that in my old surroundings. There's no mutual effort. There's no even attempt at mutual understanding. So I needed that little jab, that little reminder, like, hey, you did the right thing. You did see that right. The pattern was never going to change. You know? So I got a huge peace of mind that day. Not going to lie, a little bit of a gut shot, but more relief than anything. Like, okay, I did do the right thing. And it don't matter because, one, you didn't need the online thing for the update, even though there are parts of it that tie to the online thing. And my niece, is putting me on her and her friend's account because I help them with their stuff. Because, again, it's a popular game. A lot of us play it. And that was a sign I knew I was healing at that point, like genuinely healing. Because when it happened, instead of getting pissed off, I literally went, huh, and shook my head. Not at all surprised. Because again, that was her MO. That had happened at least twice before, if not more than that. She always holds on to that one thing, and it's that little control issue that, oh, I'm going to pull that rug out from under you. Good riddance. Let it be somebody else's problem. I'm over it. I did decide today I am going to buckle down and start doing some recordings from the Bible study book, or whatever you want to call it, project. It's still really cold out here, and as you see, I'm still dressed for church, so it's not a lot of layers. So I probably won't get too far into it, but I will get it started because I've been meaning to do that. I've been needing to do that. I released the link for the book, but then I haven't done anything else with it. So we're going to start correcting that today. That I think I already mentioned it, but I'm officially registered for the classes. So, my name's on the roster. I got a spot. I got a seat. The book is on its way. Again, I'm really excited about this. And again, when the book comes, I will be taking another little break because that's going to be my focus. That was part of the plan. I said my 2-year plan. I found a loophole because there was something that I couldn't do. And I found a way to do the part that I'm good at without the part that I can't do. So everything's above board. Everybody's happy. I feel much more fulfilled. I'm actually doing something towards my purpose. This is absolutely my purpose. Just to share information, get people thinking. That's what, God designed me for. That is, of all the things that people will say I'm good at, I can tell you my real gift is I ask the right questions. That's it. It's that simple. I have that. I ask questions that people normally don't. And then I look for the answers to it. That's my secret. Not that it's much of a secret, but, you know. So I do these, case in point, deep dive Bible studies because I approach things, you know, my brain works different. And again, that's not to say it's better or less than anything else. It's just, case in point, fact of the matter, it's different than a majority of other people I know. Although, there are other people that brains work like me. There's quite a few, actually. I call it ADHD. Part autism, part ADHD. And if you know how to use it right, it is a superpower. Anyway, that's the update, the check in. Things are moving ahead. Things are going good. Um, oh, I had an appointment just before Christmas with my regular doctor, and they read my blood work, and they said your cholesterol is better than mine. Awesome. Here's a win. I'm on the health kick. Still doing good there. And then I had a therapy appointment a little after Christmas. And that went well too. The therapist was very happy with me where I was at. Again, I told him, the activity, what I've been doing lately, I'm starting to do things for myself again. I'm not waiting for somebody to build with me anymore. I'm just building on my own. You know? I'm not waiting for somebody that's hovering half out the door anymore. It's funny. I was having a really good in-depth conversation with a good friend last night about this. Because they're in a very similar situation to mine about being single, and we both have like kind of different mindsets to it too. It's pretty interesting. That's why I think the conversation was so great. But it's like I am not giving up on that. It is no longer my focus because I know better now. One for multiple reasons, and obviously I'm more okay with it than my friend has been, but I get it. There are times, but like I said to them, and they agreed. I'd rather be alone and sure of myself than be with somebody who makes me question everything. You know? And I have my friendships. I have what I need there. I've made a lot of new and good friends. From getting back into going to church. Good people. People that are like me, who think of others. It's not cutthroat. It's not, I got to be first in line. It's not, I got to snuff out your light to make mine look brighter. I finally found my tribe, people that operate like I do. Not exactly, but close enough that, you know, That's the thing. They say hindsight is 20/20, and it really is. Because I think back on just how many times over the years there was like little red flags, like when the new neighbors moved in, and that was back when things were still good. I was still working. That was before the heart attack, um, or the first one. And I've always been like old school, like, hey, you should be good with your neighbors, unless there's something like really wrong with them. And like that kind of gave her pause. Like she didn't quite understand. Like she didn't get that. That's one of those little things that kind of sticks out in memory. Like there was your warning sign there, because again, I've written about this. The real thing, the real test of who you're around is, are they able to understand principles, right? Because there's a difference. That's why there's a separate word for for principles. It's a combination of intuition, fortitude, a few things, and you roll it all up in one. But this is how I choose to be. There was years before that. There was time I was helping this couple, homeless. The girl was pregnant. When I first met her, I just met the girl. She'd come out of Walmart spending what the last they had on a few things. He was actually in jail for a little bit. And again, it was one of those instances like where she couldn't understand, like why would you help somebody like that? Why wouldn't I? I mean, the right thing is the right thing, and you got to question what the right thing is. But that's accountability. That looking backward like that, those are the red flags that I purposely, because I do remember I did pause. Obviously, if it's still in my memory of when they happened, it did give me pause. But quickly the blinders came up. Like, no, you're reading too much into it. Let that go. And then we see how everything ends. And it's like, no, you ignored the red flag. You were the dummy. You kept letting things go as they were, even though you knew better. And I did pay the price for it. I really did. But that's okay, because now that debt is clear. You know, um, and things are getting put right, and now I'm where I belong, and I feel good about that. And I feel like I can do some more good in the world. Because again, I'm going from, no matter how much I tried to do good, and it felt like it wasn't enough. And now I do the littlest thing. Like, I don't even go up to my full potential. I do the littlest thing, and I get treated like, oh, thanks for going above and beyond for this. Like, no, I don't feel that way. That's who I am. Again, I found my tribe. I refuse to be cutthroat. Except when it comes to my peace. I got no problem cutting certain people out of my life. And again, it's not holding a grudge. It's hey, you mishandled, you missed your opportunity. Sorry about your luck. Because I give chance after chance. It's never a sudden thing. It's always because I get pushed past my limit when I do it. And there's always a warning too, because I'm a very clear person. I communicate clearly. Every single time I've said, hey, I'm starting to have a problem with this. Let's correct it. And I would go ignored. All right. That's both my blessing and my curse that I'm constantly underestimated. People take me very lightly, and they should, because I'm not. I'm a very laid back person, but I am a goofball too. I love being a goofball. I have a very healthy inner child, you know? There's a difference between being taken seriously and being completely disregarded. You know? Again, the truest form of love is consideration. And I'm the type of guy, and this isn't even a romantic relationship, just as a friend. If you tell me that you're into something or you like something, I'll follow that away. And if I ever come across something that has to do with that, or if I hear a little bit of tidbit of information, or if I have some spare time and I remember it and I'll look up some tidbit or information, you know, I'll always share with that. That was another one of the red flags, because at the end, she had forgotten about a sacrifice that I had made about 2 years ago, ironically, to try and make her happy. And she had forgotten all about it. And when I reminded her, she was like, oh, yeah. And yeah. You know, it was okay when it was all on me. But when it's time for you to reciprocate, you walk away, stay gone. I don't do one-sided no more. The second I get a hint that it's one-sided, I remove myself from the equation. But again, there is a difference. You have to understand the difference between reciprocal and transactional. Reciprocal is what you want. Transactional is what you run from. But again, we'll get to that. It's coming up. We're going to start this. I'm going to take a little break, and then I'm going to start the video, the intro for that, and then see how far we get into it. That's what my study is on, love, biblically. That was a good study, too, because it told me, what I thought wasn't. I know better now. And that's part of the human experience. That's what this life is about. To change, to grow, to learn certain lessons, develop character. Everybody comes here and thinks they need to amass fame, power, wealth. What good does any of that do you? You don't take none of it with you. And anything left behind your family within 100 years is gone, is dust. Just like, no offense, but the person is. We focus on the wrong things as human beings. I'm not saying they're not important. I'm not saying that it should be all everybody sitting back doing art and nobody works or none of that. No. And I love people that go on that straw man or strongman or however you want to look at it, attack, depending on what side you're on. But you shouldn't have to kill yourself and barely survive. That's what people are tired of. But again, people are so programmed to the system that they cannot fathom just that slight change in principle. See how that circles back around? It's all about principles. was an interesting realization. The program can't understand principles. Anywho, as usual, I've gone way over, but I'm gonna do something different with when I start the book series. Those are probably going to be even less than 15-minute videos. But I do need to I need to discipline myself, and I need to get practice, because again, when I finish these classes, I'm going to have to be able to speak in like little 15-minute intervals. So, take a little break, and I'm going to get on that. In the meantime, as usual, take care of yourself. Try and help take care of each other. See you in the next one.